I've been a few times, so
I was gonna say, you coached a game there,
yeah,
right?
I've coached two there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What's it like?
Uh, the fans are great. They just love it. They love football. I don't think they have necessarily an allegiance to any team, but they just love the game of football. It's. I mean, I've not been to a soccer game over there, but I think the energy would be something similar, like I would expect. A lot of festivities, a lot of action, so it's pretty cool.
What's the biggest challenge of getting guys ready when they're kind of going through all the?
Well, I think it obviously takes a little bit of time. You know, just the way we're doing the schedule, I think is really good. We've got a bulk of the install done. Get a chance to do a little bit more work tonight on the plane going over. Get a chance to get out there, get set a little bit, do a little bit of just some light work tomorrow, kind of finish up the game plan. Again, the biggest thing is just kind of getting them acclimated. But again, I think there's a really good plan in place. I like this schedule. I've done it both ways. I've gone over early, like on Monday. That was hard. I think this is a good schedule, good way to do it. And I think our guys are excited about the opportunity to go over there and play another game.
What was the challenge, I guess, of going on Monday when you went?
It just was it was a lot crammed into that Monday, trying to come off a game. You played Sunday, then you came in, you game planned, you flew all night Monday, you got up Tuesday. That was trying to get them acclimated. This is better. We've got the bulk of the game plan done. Not all of it, but the bulk of it. They've heard quite a bit of it, so their mind's already on it. And now it's more of just kind of us going in and reviewing things with them, adding a few pieces that are missing, which I think is good, because there's certainly things that, you know, getting over there and getting acclimated is a little bit different. It's a cool site that we're going to. The place we're going to is really cool. And again, I think our guys are excited and just looking forward to a challenge.
The combination of the running game, a lot of big plays in the passing game, a lot of it off play action. Just how much does that kind of what you want this offense to look?
In a perfect world, I think it goes back to that term I always use. You guys probably get tired of hearing it, balance. It helps when you're running the ball as well as we've run it the last couple of weeks. The play action game is going to be there. They actually, talking about the Rams, they actually played us, you know, a little bit different than we thought that they might. So again, you always have to be ready to adjust. I think that we were able to do that. But again, each week is different, and the elements sometimes affect that. But we were pleased with the way we played, and unfortunately, weren't able to finish. It would have been great to finish off that last drive. Can't shoot ourselves in the foot like we did, but I thought we did a lot of really good things.
How can you tell that the running game helps play action?
I think it's the response you see by the defense. You see, number one, what front do they play? What, you know, where's the safety aligned? Is the safety down in the box? And then there's things that we're obviously looking at for, you know, how the linebackers attack the line of scrimmage. If they're really trying to fit their gap, you know, they obviously all have responsibilities of what gap they're supposed to be in, and it's something you can kind of take a look at. And it looks different these last 2 weeks than it has obviously the first 2 weeks when we weren't running it as well as we are now. Again, each team that you play is different. They've got a different way they want to attack and play, and Oakland certainly has their ways that they do things, and we'll have to kind of figure that out as we go and see if they change or adjust.
How good a sign for it is it for you guys that you're getting it done with different runners? That you get Mike in a couple weeks ago, and then Chris comes back and he has a big game.
Well, I think it just shows you that we're a pretty good running team. Both those guys are really good players. They both are running very hard. They're both running with confidence. It shows, you know, the line gets a lot of credit. Our tight ends, you know, Nick Vanette's done a great job. Throwing George in there some last week was good for us. But the receivers, they don't get enough credit. You watch those guys work in the running game, they do an awesome job. You know, sometimes it's hard for a receiver. You throw it 21 times and there's not enough balls to go around, but you watch the way that those guys compete in the running game, and it's pretty cool. So it's a philosophy, it's a personality that all those guys have bought into, and it's just been cool to see us when teams know we want to run it, that we can still do that.
What have you seen the progression of David Moore be since you first got here to kind of what we've seen the last few weeks?
Confidence would be the first thing that I would just speak to. How much more confident he is now. I think he knew he was a very talented player. He knew he could run. He knew he could separate from defenders. He knew he could catch. He knew he could run after the catch. But I think his confidence in the system and what we're asking him to do is at an all-time high. He looks like he's out there playing. A big part of playing receiver is you got to be able to just go and play and react, because the defense is going to throw things that you have to maneuver off of, whether it's coverages and things like that. So I think that's probably the biggest thing, and I think that's why he's playing with so much confidence, is because he feels good about the system, and he feels good, oh, okay, I can do this. This is nothing different. Obviously, it was a big jump for him coming from where he came from, but he's proven that he can do it, and again, just a really good young player that we're really excited about.
Is that the biggest reason you've wanted to get him more involved over the that the kind of the impetus that pushed it to that?
For sure. You guys saw it. You saw it in the preseason. You saw it at practice. There was always things that he was doing. And, of course, he's making mistakes, and you're coaching those mistakes. They all make mistakes. Even the veterans all make mistakes. But we just knew that he's a tremendous talent, and that if we could find ways to let him go and play and make those mistakes and coach him through those, that he would impact games the way that he did last week and the way that he did against Arizona. So, again, very pleased with what he's doing. It's fun to see him out there competing and even speaking up more in the meetings now. You can just see that he's got a different attitude about it.
Obviously, Mike and Chris ran great last week and all that. Is there still a way to kind of fit Rashad Penny into that mix?
I think so. Again, Rashad had, 50 yards plus or something against Arizona. We're not going to force it, I mean, this is a long season. This is a season we're going to need them all. Talk about J.D. McKissick, another good player. C.J., another good player. So it's just one of those things that we're excited about, that we've got that stable of backs that is like, hey, next man up, or hey, it's your turn this week. And we kind of keep talking to him about it. And I know he wants to contribute, talking about Rashad. He's looking for his opportunities, and it's going to come. And it starts with preparation. It's about the little details for him. And when you're not getting the reps or you're not playing in the game, can you stay in the game focused? Can you see what the defense is doing and be on top of your assignments and my blitz keys and things like that? And I think he's doing a nice job of that.
Do you see helping him with that? Whether it's accountability in some of those moments or just making sure that he's staying on top of stuff?
I think Chad Morton does a really good job with him. Rashad's one of those guys, he's not afraid to ask for help. He's not afraid to say, hey, coach, hey, Shotty, what can I do better? Give me some insight. So I think we all try to. I think he's got a very supportive room. That's a really cool room. Those guys all support each other. They all want to play, but yet they're all going to cheer and pull for one another. But I know he and Chad spend quite a bit of time together. And, like most rookies, there's a learning transition. And, again, he's coming from a very different offense. They were in 22 personnel, and he was always in the dot, and he always had a fullback. And so the biggest thing with him is just keeping him encouraged, and he's going to be just fine. And it doesn't take much space for him to get through, and when he does, it's going to be hard to catch him.
You mentioned confidence in regards to David. How about with the offensive line? It seems like with the performances they put together the last few weeks, that might be starting to grow up as well.
Yeah, it's been cool to see it develop. I think, same thing, I use the word a lot probably today, but confidence. You see that, having Fluker back and Sweezy with the transition, Dwayne's obviously always, going to be a guy that we rely on to go block whoever that they've got on that side. Justin Britt doesn't get enough credit for the job that he does, making all the calls and directing basically the whole blocking unit. He does a lot of work that probably doesn't get noticed. And again, Jermaine played probably his best game last week. I mean, he played really, really well, and that's exciting. It's exciting to see those guys come together. There's an attitude. And it's good to see those guys play with that attitude, like, okay, they get mad at me when I don't run the ball, They come over, they give me those looks like, and I just kind of acknowledge them, like, I see you guys, So that's cool. It's cool to have those guys have that type of attitude, like, hey, put it on our shoulders. We want it. Give it to us. Let us go do our thing.
What is with the Raiders, what is the specific challenge with their defense?
I think obviously, they do a number of things from a pressure standpoint, especially on third down. Coach Gunther comes from, the Bengals, Vikings, Zimmer background, so they do a lot of, the up in the A gaps and things like that. They do a nice job with their blitz packages. That's part of it. Again, they're a team that, they're going to challenge you on the outside. They're going to try to get their safeties down in the front. A guy like Bruce Irvin's a really good football player. Obviously, everybody here knows him. So it's pro football, and they've been in some really close games against some good teams, and we're expecting a really tough challenge on Sunday.
Good. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Travel safe if you're heading over.
Yeah.